Hey, how you doing? Tony Wysinski, official aviator of the podcast, Redline Radio, and here he is. He just got done fixing the carburetor on his nephew David's tailgate bus, Frankie Bergasetti.
Hey, how you doing? You wouldn't believe what this guy had in his trunk.
I tell you, the fingers look a little dirty. You got the grease rag. What'd you find in the trunk?
I can't even talk about it. I'm so upset I can't even talk about it.
I know you're a tight-lipped guy, but please indulge.
I'm talking Playboy magazines.
No.
Yeah.
The dirties?
Yeah. I'm talking bloody white T-shirts. I don't know what he was getting into.
From the fist fights?
Yes.
Bare knuckle boxing?
Yes, he was getting into too much. I'm upset with my Dave. But you know what? I'm excited to just kick back and enjoy some dependable Miller Lights.
That's right. We got the big tailgate scene coming up. Thanks for getting that baby locked and loaded, ready to go. Dave and his crew of cronies will be down there, and we'll be having great tasting, less filling, 96-calorie, delicious Miller Lite. It really is a perfect beer.
It definitely is. And to celebrate the return of Miller time here for moments over football, since it is the fall, you know, Miller Lite created the Miller Timeless Collection, a collection of 6 stunning rings set in solid 10-karat gold and featuring a microchip inside each ring. This chip can detect when all 6 rings are together, enjoying Miller time and football and unlock free Miller Lite.
The microchip?
Yep, the microchip. There is only one 6-pack of the ring in existence. Will you be the one to find and win them for your group?
I sure hope so.
No purchase necessary. Must be of legal drinking age in the U.S. For more information on how to enter in the contest requirements, visit MillerTimelessCollection.com.
Hey, how you doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Chicago sports fans. This is Barstool Carl.
Hey, I'm Sox Dave.
Chief.
Eddie.
This is Redline Radio and All Gas No Break Chicago Sports Podcast, brought to you by Barstool Sports Chicago and Miller Lite. And it is one day after the White Sox have been eliminated. Dave, people want to know, how are you feeling?
I'm better today. I didn't sleep for dick last night. I don't know why. I went home and just 3-cheated myself to my fucking dome.
Too excited for hockey season?
And, well, that's what fucked me up. I fell asleep for like an hour and a half at like, I don't know, whenever we got home. I fell asleep and then I was up. So I watched Gladiator. I finished half of Gladiator because I started
that. It's on Netflix, right?
It's on Netflix. Mm-hmm. And then I watched all of, ironically enough, Snowden because I wanted to get the whole backstory. I want to talk about that in a second, though.
Okay.
And then I started watching Dancing with Wolves because I haven't seen it in like 15, 18 years.
Top 10 movie for me.
It's a great movie.
A great movie.
I
just haven't seen it
You haven't
forever.
finished it yet?
No, I got
3.5 hours.
Yeah, it's super long.
Yeah, no, but you're still working your way through it. That's enjoyable. That's a movie you can pick up and put down.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
He right now, and I don't care if they're spoilers, the movie's 40 years old. He is like, they just learned Buffalo.
Tatanka.
Yeah, Tatanka.
Tatanka.
Yeah, they just learned how to say Buffalo, and he learned how to say Tatanka. And that's about when I fell asleep.
Eddie, do you have a favorite Kevin Costner baseball movie or Kevin Costner appearance in general, like in Leprechaun 2?
You know, he was a pretty decent Batman.
I don't
No,
think he
that was Michael
Batman.
Keaton.
Jesus.
That was Michael
This
Keaton.
is insult. He's one of the greatest American actors of all time.
Him and Michael Keaton are pretty interchangeable,
Get
in my
the
opinion.
fuck out
Michael,
of here.
what?
Compare their IMDb's. It's Costner.
He did Waterworld.
Chief loved draft day.
I mean, Michael Keaton.
Trading up picks, getting in the front office with the guys.
We got Bull Durham. We got Field of Dreams. We got Dance with the Wolves.
Untouchables.
13 Days.
Untouchables, yeah.
Untouchables. JFK. I mean, he has got, like, if you want to sit down and have a marathon of movies and you want to pick one actor, you might just go with Costner.
Mrs. Ripken.
You
know that story.
Yep.
It's
He's
not
a
true.
little too horned up for Costner. Then
I'm not. Have you
Chief is?
seen Yellowstone? No, you haven't.
No.
Yellowstone's also great.
Costner got a lot of respect in your house growing up, didn't he?
No, I just like Kevin. I just think he's a good actor.
You guys had a Dances with Wolves night. They stayed at a hotel together. Dad popped it on the fucking hotel, paid the $17.99 charge.
You are not familiar with my dad if you think that was
True
possible.
Lies?
I don't know if I've seen that one.
True Lies? He's not in True Lies.
I'm just saying that was a big one for us in '94.
Oh, that's an ultimate dad movie. Like for people
'cause-
our age, that's like the ultimate dad movie.
What's her name is prancing around in the
Jamie Lee
in the
Jamie
Curtis.
Lee Curtis? Yeah,
Yeah.
She's
And that was
smoking
that
movie.
was before the internet said she had.
Let Him Go just came out with
great scene.
Diane Lane, that came out in 2020. That was good. Like, he just has like a ton of good movies,
Oh, yeah.
and he doesn't get enough respect.
And Dances with
I
Wolves
think
is
he
one of
gets the
them. And
appropriate
Dave, you're in the
amount of
middle
respect.
of it right now. Do you have a mid movie score?
Oh, I've seen it before. It's just been forever since I've seen it, so this is
Tin Cup.
like a refresher for me. But it's a great movie.
Very
It's a
good.
great movie.
They show Hooters in that one too, right?
Yeah, I remember we watched Dance with Wolves in like 7th or 8th grade, and wheel in the TV, and we watched it over like a period of like 3 weeks, and we got to that scene. I think the teacher like forgot that the tits were out in that scene where they're
Tits out for the boys.
They're banging in the teepee, and everybody was like, "Oh fuck yeah!" Like,
You just
let's
gotta let it go at that point.
Yeah,
That's actually exactly where I fell asleep. Now that you mention it, is when the chief is trying to convince her to speak English and translate.
yeah.
That's exactly where I fell asleep.
So are you anti Michael Keaton?
no, I like Michael Keaton, and we have our best family friends, the Frasers. Shout out the Frasers. Mr. Fraser, Andrew Fraser, looks exactly like him.
Does
So
he?
like we never had like Kevin Costner nights, but when I was like very little, we had Michael Keaton nights because like it was like, oh, there's Mr. Fraser. Yeah.
Michael Keaton is. There's something about him where he's like vicious, but he's harmless. Like the earlier versions of Michael Keaton are just so harmless. But I feel like as he progressed,
I feel like he's had like a little bit of a resurgence too. Like he had like a 15-20 year like
he
whatever.
was a bad guy in a Marvel movie. He
but
was
he
also
did The
in
Founder and Birdman.
Birdman.
And
The Founder
Spot-
was really good.
and Spotlight
I own
Yeah.
The Founder
Do you?
digitally.
on Comcast.
Oh,
I get criticized for this. I don't care. I buy my movies on YouTube. Well, originally Google, because I was like, well, if I buy them digitally, like Google will never fail. I'll have these forever.
It's true.
Then they bought YouTube. So I have like a whole library of like all these movies that I've bought for like 10 years now.
And you just airdrop it to
And
your
the
TV.
The Founder I have,
Founder's good.
because I got the app.
I think that's on Netflix. Right
And then
now,
people are
too.
like, you buy movies? I got John Wick 2. Why? Because you can buy it before you can rent it. So when I get an itchy trigger finger, this is pre-pandemic stuff, Ed.
yeah.
Itchy trigger finger, I'd say, fine, I can't wait. I did that with A Star is Born too.
See, I did that a lot during the pandemic. It's like, I want to watch this movie. There's nothing else to do. I guess we'll just buy it.
I want to know it.
Yeah.
I don't want to just watch it. I want to know
Yeah.
it. And what I want to know next is, Dave, you are feeling better. You have bounced back. You didn't sleep last night.
Didn't sleep. I fell asleep at about 4 a.m.
Okay.
I got up and started getting into it with more people on the internet.
Because I heard a rumor Dave couldn't sleep because Ed Snowden was looking for him.
Well, yeah. What'd you find out
You
about
sleep with what the
So-
CIA is.
I know the cliff notes. Well, I should say I knew the cliff notes of Ed Snowden prior to me watching the movie and doing the Wikipedia research as I was watching the movie. I would like to open the floor. Is he a traitor or is he a patriot?
We're not doing that.
I mean,
not
it's a fair question.
I'll answer the question.
Answer it.
Yeah, I mean,
I can, and ironically enough, I just got into this whole fucking viral situation rather with you can't play the middle, and I can see both sides.
Yeah, if you can see
I
both
can see
sides
both
to it, then
sides.
perfect. We see both sides, and we're not in a position where we need to be rendering professional opinions on this. In one side, sure, disseminating information.
probably not on a Chicago sports podcast.
Yeah.
But
it's
sure enough, though, he threw his head into our ring because he called you a sports journalist.
yeah, like fucking idiot.
Does that discredit his actions?
It does.
If he
To
thinks
me,
you're a
it did.
sports journalist, does anybody really care what he thinks about national security?
I don't give a shit what he thinks about national security.
All right, so are we
I
over
do.
John Cusack? Is Ed Snowden the fucking cherry on top of this where, it doesn't get bigger than this now?
Are you asking me?
I'm
People
waiting
are
for
still
Obama to
talking
weigh
about
in.
Yeah.
Obama might weigh in. If the White Sox had won yesterday, Obama might have weighed in.
Obama would have brought you two together for a nice beer in the...
That was not a bad Obama. Keep going with that.
White Sox Dave. No. What type of... Yeah,
Metadata.
you'd have a Miller Lite with Obama.
Yeah, I'd have. There's not many people I wouldn't have a Miller Lite with, so long as the conversation could be civil. Even if we did have dissenting opinions on anything. And I'm not saying I do or don't with Obama, but obviously he's a polarizing figure.
Well, you definitely do with Cusack.
Politically, well, yeah, obviously.
That I was watching the Portnoy show this morning, and I saw that Liz Gonzalez reached out to him because he follows her randomly, that response was just like, what the fuck? Like, this guy,
He sucks.
he hates your guts.
Good. It's so when I was flying out to New York last week, you know how you get the free movies when you log into the app and shit? I watched Good Will Hunting, which I've seen 8 billion times. And there's the scene where they're at the pond and he's just fucking ripping Will apart. Robin Williams, that is. And he's like, I thought something about you and I fell into a deep, peaceful sleep. I haven't thought about you since. It will never not make me laugh for the rest of my life, knowing that at some point in my early 30s that I was swimming laps in John Cusack's brain. I could be 65 years old and I'll look back like doing whatever the fuck I'm doing and I'll be like, I was in his head.
Yep.
And he wouldn't, and I feel like he wouldn't have gotten defensive if he didn't at least know that he was a little, being lame. I'll say that.
Oh, he's definitely defensive about it. Like, he knows you're right. He knows you're right. But, like, the ship has sailed, so it is what it is.
Congrats for on the moment. And I guess as we look out of this John Cusack controversy, conflict, another word I saw, embarrassing moment. What was that headline? White Sox Dave embarrasses.
Fuck out of here.
I would like to add. I would like to add Aaron Rodgers to the ban list. It's Packers week. Also, the Blackhawks opened last night.
Yeah.
Kris Versteeg is going to join us for a spirited conversation with Chief and Scott Darling.
It was one of my favorite hockey interviews we've ever done.
Yeah, his storytelling's fantastic.
He's awesome. Yeah.
We get some like hilarious Q stuff, and I like his perspective about climbing the ladder. But
yeah, tough guy.
It's Bears Packers week. I need like a preview. I need like how we feel.
I mean, we haven't even talked about the damn Raider game yet.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just been playoffs take precedent. Like, so the White Sox got bounced, and you had to talk about.
I'm
going
to have to recuse myself from most of this conversation because the playoff game started while the Bears game was going on, so I didn't even really watch it. So
did Gruden know he was getting fired while he was calling that game?
I think so.
You think so?
I think. Well, he had already addressed the team about the emails, so the team knew. So I don't know if they. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I was wondering that myself. I think I might have said that on the last show. Like, had the team already like quit on him because they knew what he said.
Well, Dave, since you didn't see it, and you two step in if you don't agree with me, it was a pretty like jarring game. The Bears were in control.
You were optimistic.
I was optimistic, and what I saw was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I did not expect
they were
in the
super. They
lot.
were like, hold on, because you just said you didn't watch it. But I thought the Bears had just a significant more physical control of the game, and they can create pressure with 4 guys. And like if you have Quinn and Mack offsetting each other and playing at a high level, then it just makes everybody so much better around them. But how physical they were, to me was like, oh fuck, like we talk so much about like the soft league, you got to pass and throw the ball and put up all those points. Like the Bears went out there and like manhandled the Raiders, and then without David Montgomery, like kind of just had their way in the trenches.
Yeah. Dude, Khalil Pierce. Khalil
Herbert.
Herbert. Sorry, Artavis Pierce.
Artavis.
Yeah. Herbert. Dude, he looked.
He's good back. He's a good back.
He looked good.
He's a one cut. Runs hard. I liked him a lot.
I loved the jumbo package naturally.
Yeah,
as a former lineman.
I liked that too. Like seeing Bars,
a double striper.
Yeah, seeing Bars go in motion was just like kind of funny. It didn't really work though.
It worked at time. I think I saw that we ran for like 15 yards and a touchdown in it, and then in the passing game it was helpful for a small sample size.
Yeah, but I feel like that was the one situation in that game where they struggled with short yardage. Like they had that 4th and 1 they didn't pick up. They had a 3rd and 2 they didn't pick up with that jumbo. I remember. So
Here it is. Alex Bars reported as an eligible player 13 times for the Bears offense, and they ran 9 times, passed 4 times. On the runs they had 15 yards and a TD. And on pass attempts, Fields was 3 for 4 with 31 yards.
Okay, well, the next stand corrected, but yeah, that was. I like the big boys.
Lester Whitfong.
Yep.
Yeah, they just beat the fuck out of him, Dave.
They physically.
I love that. Yeah I was saying because there was a bunch of tailgaters that had TVs with like the satellite dish or whatever they had going. So I was watching it in passing, and every time I look at the score, it looked like they had complete and total control of the game the entire game.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, Derek Carr was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I like him too.
Were we good or was he bad?
A little bit of both.
See, I think it was more on the Bears. Like,
You think so?
He didn't have a lot of time.
He
like,
sailed a lot, though, man.
I
He sailed a
suppose.
lot of throws, and then they had a couple drops, too, that were called.
Yeah.
So at what point do we can take a step back from this Derek Carr stuff, and at what point do we start saying like, okay, hey, the Bears, like, could we be better than average? Because look at the way we handled the Bengals, and I mean, we kind of discredited the Raiders for a second just based on their last two games against the Chargers and the Dolphins before we went out there. There were a ton of Bears fans out there. You could say that. There's the controversy in the Raiders locker room. We could say that.
Well, here's the thing, too, dude, is I'm going to say about coming into this week, we don't know what the Packers are either.
I know.
They are a weird team.
Yeah.
I've watched
Yeah.
every one of their games. They played Monday, right? They played Monday this week.
No, Sunday.
Sunday
Or
night.
Sunday night. Sunday night. So
Horrible game
Yeah.
against the Bengals.
There's not a lot. There's a lot of identity searching right now in the NFL, though.
Totally.
that's exactly
Even at the
it.
top
You
of
have
the league,
no
except for
idea
the
what
Bills.
time that
Chiefs are 2-3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they beat an awful team in the Lions. They beat a bad team in the Steelers, what I would say is a bad
Who know?
team.
But are they?
Yeah, who knows?
They're not very
really.
good.
But Big Ben will need to figure a lot of things out before you have that conversation. And I still am not buying the Bengals. Like, we saw them week 2, and I am not buying the. Like,
I'm buying Joe Burrow and Shamar fucking Chase.
sure, totally, I'm buying those guys. No
Yeah.
doubt about it. But their offensive line's a mess, and I just don't think that they're a team that's.
But I think Cincinnati's becoming a tough place to play. I watched a lot of that Packers game, and like I was very impressed with how that place was rocking at the end. And obviously, it's a close game. But as far as buying the Bengals as an organization, no. But the Bears did fucking handle them. The defense handled
The Bears were more impressive than the Packers were.
100%.
Yeah. I mean,
now we can start playing common opponent stuff.
Right.
Well,
transitive. I don't know. It's tough, but like Crosby tried to lose that game. Like, that end of that game was just like
there was
the Bengals
something
should have
weird
won
going.
that
They
game.
kept missing on the same side. There was something
Both
weird going
kickers.
on.
There were 5 kicks, or maybe 6.
5 straight missed kicks.
Yeah. And then I think they might have had like 1 or 2 missed extra points in that game.
And these
too.
weren't fucking 52
Crosby missed
yarders
one.
either. 36.
Yeah,
40
yeah.
here.
One the one Bengals one was for 57. But you're right. Like the majority of them were like you would think an NFL kicker would make the kick.
But goddamn, the Packers, like, where that's a game where like we would never win.
No. And that's the same thing. If you're going to count wins, you're going to count that. I mean, they have a better quality win than us. They beat the Niners.
Yeah, but it's not like the Niners. You don't like think it. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm a little bit more
Niners
down.
almost blew it to the Lions, and we didn't let the Lions off the fucking bus.
Yeah, I know. And listen, you could play this game in endless circles with the NFL.
So, but the point I'm trying to get to is when we do kick off against the Packers, like, can I at least say personally that I feel better about the Bears going into this Packers game
Yeah, I think
than
you
I
could,
ever
that's
could
safe.
have in the preseason. In
Oh,
this
for
season,
sure.
we looked at the schedule. We talked all the way around. It's like this is at the top of my, I don't know, like potential going to this game. We're like, ooh, okay, let's get to 4-2 and get top of the division.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
I think you look at
But we
If you
have to
say
keep
don't know what
circling
they
back
are.
to that little chart that guy sent us on Twitter. The Bears have historically under Matt Nagy done this constantly. Get blown out, have a bounce back win, build up hope, get blown out, want everybody's head, bounce back win. It's like a never ending story.
Yeah.
With that big ass dog. You ever seen that movie, Ed?
Never ending story.
Yeah, great movie.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's a big ass dog.
yeah, it's a big ass dog. He's
But,
gonna fly.
I
That's
mean,
gonna
it's
fly,
streaming
Ed.
on Disney.
I
Plus.
remember talking about
think
this
so.
before, like looking at the schedule right before the season started, and we were like, oh, fucking October, or it's all Packers, Bucks, Niners, like that's gonna suck. Now it's like,
The Bears at home against the Niners with Trey Lance
I think I like
right now would be favored.
Yeah,
I think if you take it in the season as you
chunks.
in a vacuum, you
Yeah.
look at it and you're like, wow, okay. For all intents and purposes, like you should go into Sunday hopeful right now.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yep.
However, they have Aaron Rodgers and we don't.
Yes.
And
problem.
that's
a problem.
Exactly.
And like for all the Packers' problems against the Bengals, like those two guys still look fine. Like Devontae Adams had 200 yards receiving, a couple touchdowns, I think. Like that connection still works.
Oh,
So,
big time.
yeah.
Big time. Like they were moving the ball well. They just weren't able to finish.
Yeah, but there's hope. There's a gleam. Like I don't think it's impossible that they win that game. You know, and like the 4.5. Or I think it's 4.5 now. What?
It's not. I mean, it's just a funny way to put it. Like, there's a gleam, and you use the word "not impossible," meaning like there's a 4% chance. I don't know. It's funny to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's not
meanwhile, Bears keep winning as 2-1 dogs here. And I think
It's
they're going to
true.
be in another situation where they're probably plus 180, plus 190 on the money line this week.
Let's see what it is right now.
I also saw a funny stat that they're coming in. This will be the 20th Bears starting quarterback in this matchup in this series since whatever
Since
90
Favre.
whatever Favre started. The Packers have 3.
Who's the
They've
third
had
one?
3.
Matt
Oh,
Flynn.
Hundley played one game.
Oh yeah.
Who was hurt?
Rodgers. was
Yeah,
hurt.
Rodgers was hurt.
How bad is that?
Yeah, I mean, you want me to say that it's not good? It's not good. What about? I mean,
Bears
is
are
there
plus 163 for money line.
is there like
Yeah, let's bet him.
there's definitely less heat off Nagy. When we came in here a couple weeks ago, we're like, fucking man,
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, that's not. I mean, I regardless, they got a lot of problems. The Raiders clearly now even more problems than they did before the game. But it's just never easy to win on the road, and especially across all the coastlines and that new stadium. That's
playing in Vegas.
it's just never easy. It's just never easy on the road. So, I definitely don't take road wins for granted.
Yep. No, it feels.
Was
nice.
that an actual road game though? I'm sure it was just inundated with
Yeah, there was
our
probably a
Bears
lot of
fans.
Chicago
So
Yeah, but from the process, like get off the plane and stay at the
Yeah.
hotel and eat the catered dinner and stay in your
Yeah.
room and watch the film and then get to the, like that sucks.
Friend of the program, Johnny Stramaglia from Supreme Lobster, went to the game. He said it was 50-50 fans, like maybe leaning more Bears.
I like that.
Yeah.
You getting out there anytime soon, Dave?
Vegas?
Yeah,
Not
Hooters
Supreme
Hotel.
Lobster.
Hooters is gone, man.
I know. Sad.
I still get the promotion emails from whatever company bought it. No, I want to go for New Year's again, but
Yeah.
I just got an email yesterday asking me how I want to do the halftime speed pitch challenge at the Barstool Bowl from like our high end people behind the
There
scenes.
you go.
I was
Just
like,
gotta do it.
I don't know. You tell me. I'll sit there and huck baseballs at the 50-yard line. So that's my New Year's plan.
It's a good plan.
Yeah, good plan. Never been to Tucson before.
I mean, I'm confident enough to like
You
throw,
go up to
throw
Flagstaff
around
for the
plus
next
four
day.
and a
It's all
half.
in one day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I really like plus 4.5.
Yeah, I-
like I'm
Yeah.
coming into this one being like, okay, win or lose, but this is gonna be a close fucking game.
Yeah.
We're gonna play them tough. Like, sure, maybe Devontae Adams has a day and Rodgers is Rodgers, but they're weak defensively. We can control the line of scrimmage. We can move the ball control, all that shit. Like, play historical Bears football and try and beat a maybe trending down Packers team.
Yeah, I'm not playing coy like to be like, oh, I don't want to sit here and get too excited, riled up. I'm just like genuinely surprised on where we are, and I
Yeah.
don't really know how to react to it.
Yeah,
So,
I am too.
I don't think it's a bad bet. I really don't.
Yeah. It's one of
Given the way, like, if I'm really thinking, like, all right, I'm not fuck the pass, it doesn't matter. No, I
It's
don't think it's a
different.
bad bet. I don't say that word.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, it's almost like it's not even necessarily like hopeful or like usually it's like you're dreading it. I'm like kind of just more curious, I guess. Like I still don't feel like I have a good feel for what this team is or what it can be, and I feel like this is a game where it's like
Measuring stick.
Yeah, you find
Yeah.
out like a little bit more because they're 4-1. They're the top dog in the division. Like no matter how ugly they've made it look this year. And it's like you just don't know because like what you said, like they played the Raiders, but it was weird circumstances. And then it's the Bengals, and then you had the worst game ever against the Browns. You might you drop your low score kind of thing, like throw that when they're not
Yeah.
that bad.
Yeah.
So it's like I really just don't know what to think about the Bears, but I feel like we'll have a better idea about them after this.
Can
game.
we talk the nitty gritty on this Raiders game real quick though? I want to know like what you guys thought of Fields. Looked like he was just basically handing it off the whole game. I did see his touchdown pass
We gave you a
live.
pretty. I think we gave a pretty good. The nitty gritty is like we control the game physically. Like Fields didn't have to do much, didn't have to throw much. Like it was the type of game you hope we could win as many of these as possible.
Right.
In the earlier parts of Justin Fields' career.
Great way to put
Dave,
it.
it was a Bears game.
Yeah, I
we
know,
didn't score many points.
Yep.
Our defense played awesome, and like
I know
that was
exactly
it.
what
But
you mean.
we were in the driver's seat the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
The score felt bigger than it was, but since we're the Bears, nothing can be easy. It was a touchdown game.
no glaring mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
29
here's the
game.
weaknesses on the team. The offensive line sounds like it looked good.
They only gave up a couple sacks.
It's fine, but Fields did get banged up,
Yeah, he
Which-
took a couple,
I saw that. I saw that.
which could be a problem going forward. Like he's,
Yeah.
What about our DBs? Eddie Jackson, talk to me.
I mean,
Look at
scored 9 fucking points.
they scored 9 points. Carr only threw for 206. And then, just the balance of play calling, too. Like, we always used to complain about Nagy, where, in response to him throwing it 54 times or whatever it was, we made the run the damn ball thing. They had 21 passing attempts. Dalton got 1 because, Fields got like a hyperextended knee. They ran the ball between Fields, Herbert, and Williams 37 times. So, like, that just, that tells you where they either –
Good.
yeah, right.
Good.
Like that's what
Good.
you like. That's a rookie quarterback getting his feet wet. Like seems like they're trying to make it easy on him, and it worked. So
Do
Yeah, I
we
mean,
wish we still had Nick Kwiatkowski?
No, and
Yeah.
and to be fair too, is like it was. I think at where we're at, like the Raiders game, it's such history right now for I think in Chicago sports, based on what the White Sox have done, based on the Cusack drama, based on the fact that it's Packers week, that like it's so. To me, it is honestly like, can we just have this momentum at home, play tight on Sunday,
yeah.
come out with concentration and focus that you can get at innovativeadd.com.
that was
Love
nice.
it.
That was beautiful.
Love it.
Because it's not one of those online
No.
bullshit clinics.
No,
When we talk about innovativeadd.com, we talk about
well, it's two things.
go ahead.
You got to be a resident of Illinois,
Mhm.
and they do take insurance. So it's not like just one of those generic online refill things. This is like a legitimate clinic. So if you're managing your ADHD, this is the place to go. So it's a real medical clinic, like I said. They're based here in Chicago, and these are medical suppliers or providers that you can trust. You definitely want to use them for all your ADHD management. So go to innovativeadd.com to sign up. Again, you got to be a resident, but they do take insurance. And if you just like you guys, if you go there and if you do need help managing your ADHD medication, just check out the website. Go to innovativeadd.com and you'll find out for yourself like how easy it is. So just go there, and I guess that's all there is to it. It's pretty
'cause
easy.
Because it's an online clinic, you'll do your first visit in person, and then instead of having to go pick up your prescription in person, you just do telemedicine visits.
Yep.
And they've really got a good model going over there, innovativeadd.com. So speaking of good models, hopefully Matt Nagy has built one to attack the Packers this week. If you have some closing or preparing thoughts as we
I just
gird up
think-
our loins to take the field of battle against the Colorado Avalanche. I just butchered that word.
No, it was good. I liked it. It was good.
No, I honestly just think like we came in, at least I came in pretty negative, and I think we've really stuck to taking it kind of week by week without like some super overreactions, and I think that's good for us.
I watched your post game video and I was like, all right. Like Eddie's not like
Like no point to this, like whatever. Yeah.
or dismissing the win. Like like it was like you were happy. It was nice to see you happy on a Sunday.
However, this week I think will be very hard not to spark a negative or positive reaction,
Considering the opponent.
considering the opponent in this. Yeah, I mean, if we
Yeah.
win, we're in first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're talking P words.
I know, but I also don't think that's help. You know what I mean?
He doesn't want
Right.
P words.
No, it's not that. I just don't.
If they get to 4-2, it's impossible for me to
too.
look at the back end of their schedule. They play the Vikings twice, and
The Lions on Thanksgiving.
I mean, there's some really good fucking games there at the end for the Bears. So it's like, dude, if they can just control the next couple weeks,
Yeah. But you guys like just because the sex is good now doesn't mean it's a good relationship. You know, still keep Nagy in mind here, guys. Please.
100%. But for the
Please.
reasons that they're winning now, is shit that fucking plays in the playoffs. Controlling the line of scrimmage defensively with 4 guys
Oh, Jesus
is
Christ.
literally it.
No, I know, but
That's
it's like
it.
we don't even want to say the P words, and now you're saying if they do get to the P words, their style travels. Like it plays
like
in the
that's-
P
Am I
words.
wrong?
I mean, no, like you're not. But,
But
it's
this
like,
is all we've
you
ever
know.
said is like, dude, if Quinn could play at the level he gets
Yeah, yeah,
paid,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
if Matt could, and
We're-
they do that together, then you have something special. So I want to see if it is special.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
No.
But you're right. If they win, then it's like you see the next week, like against maybe the best team in the NFC.
Yeah.
It might like bring us back to life.
If
but
they
maybe
lose,
not.
though, they
Like,
got a
I'm
bounce
not-
back opportunity on the road to get me going again.
Exactly. You're right too. You're correct as well.
But like even at like this stretch, like if they lose the next two, which are very conceivable, but then they win. Again, I think like they would be favored, like you said, Carl, against San Francisco. You're 4-4. Like they're kind of on that P, like the P word is.
They'll be on the graphic in a few weeks.
Yeah. So it's. I was like as low as I could possibly be after that Browns game, and it's like that. Those thoughts are gone.
That's
Well,
what I'm saying. It's just better if we just take it week
One
by
game
week.
at a time.
I honestly think that we see a graphic first half, week 7 against the Bucks. I think that's when you see our first graphic. Is that too early?
I don't know if they're somehow 4-3 after this next 3-game stretch. Like I'm gonna be jacked up.
And this is what I love about the Bears is that I physically feel hope right now. And then Ed's over here like, don't do it to yourself, Carl. Don't do it. But like,
No, I
don't want to though. No, you know what? Although I should take a page out of your book, and I won't be so.
No, it's just what's hope. Like I said, I want to beat the fucking Packers. I hate the fucking Packers, and like I want the Bears, but I just don't. I don't know. I don't know if we should sacrifice short-term happiness for long-term misery.
I know what you're saying.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
So I'm very conflicted. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I guess the only thing that would make me nervous is if Nagy starts calling plays again.
And he's done it before.
He's done it before.
He has done it before, and the other thing I've said is like 2 games in a row. He's had 2 atrocious challenges, in my opinion, and I think it's just because he's got an itchy trigger finger because he
Dude, he
doesn't feel
stinks.
involved.
He
He's
stinks.
not involved with the play calling,
Yeah.
so he's just like, the only thing I'm in charge of is this red flag. Fucking throw it out there, and it's like he's 0 for 2. So,
But he did say that he feels like more in control of everything now that he doesn't have to worry about play calling, so he can like get in the mud with the defense, special teams, which is all a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, I kind of want to just have him in the basement with a red stapler until Sunday. Like that's just get out of the way.
They should plug his headset into like a different truck, and then they've got like a couple actors in there that are like, "Yo, you pretend to be Bill Lazor, like you're gonna be just." So he's going through the game like 57 Red Baron over XY banana flip.
Yep.
and
then
like the guys in the truck like, "Good call, coach."
Got it. And
Got
then,
it,
like,
coach.
Hey, coach, you ready to press the Club Dub play button? Those are his responsibilities. Just press play on Club Dub after the game.
Let him down easy. Okay, coaching wise though, as much as we hate Nagy, I think there's been times historically where Chief has also hated Jeremy Colleton. Maybe he hasn't. Do we want to go to Versteeg? Do we want to get in a little Avs? Like, how do we?
Yeah, why don't we just go to Versteeg and we'll do hockey out of it, and then like a little season preview out of it, and then
Another thing I watched last night, credit to me.
credit to you. You texted me a hockey question.
I
Last
asked him
night.
a question. Did I ask it?
Yeah, you're like something happened.
I
was
didn't
like,
finish
I was
it
only
though,
like,
but we'll get to it after.
kind of
Only
watching.
you would ask a question.
I
about
did
asking.
watch the Kraken versus the Vegas Knights game
Yep.
last night. Credit to me.
Credit to you.
Wait, and
Hockey Dave.
Hockey Dave.
the Kraken sounds like a.
It's a new
That's
Seattle
an
team.
awesome name, by the way.
I can't decide if I like the name, the jerseys, the logo.
I
or
mean, you
anything.
can have fun with it.
It's such a good
Obviously,
nickname.
I had the whole crack thing a couple weeks ago, but like, hey, we're like when
But
we
you beat it.
when it was. I did. That's no longer in the news, but like when we used to call U.S. Cellular Field to sell, I thought that was a cool nickname, like
Yeah.
the Crack House. We're going to the Crack House
Yeah,
tonight.
I'm sure that'll play well.
The
I mean,
Yeah.
with fans, you can have fun.
Do you know what their actual stadium name is called? It's like Bezos bought the naming rights, and it's like Climate Change Pledge Arena. So it's like they're the greenest arena, and they have this system where they can collect the rainfall, and that's what they're
So
making.
all these 8 billion
all
fucking
of-
Amazon trucks you see all over the city every day.
it's
has,
neutralized because the ice is made out of rain.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, yeah.
I like the nickname Kraken. I think that'd be like a funny thing. Like if you had like a buddy in the frat and he just had like a huge dick and like the girl, like he was just like the guy on campus and like he came in, but like it was like only a certain time and be like, yo, the Kraken's now
release the Kraken.
And I think people, generally speaking, in a large group of friends, like you know that guy, you're like, yo, have you heard that guy's supposed to be having like a huge. Now, here's the thing: even if you do or don't. Everybody can be a Kraken if you're using Roman swipes.
Oh, my God,
wow.
Carl.
How about that?
He's on a fucking
This
roll
guy
today.
is locked the fuck in right
How
now.
about that?
Yeah.
This is I'm impressed. Can we give a golf clap?
Thank you, Dave.
Most guys have tried different ways to last longer. Dave?
I've tried every trick in the book, and it wasn't until I found Roman swipes that I could last longer in bed.
You ever stick a trombone up your ass?
I've pulled the American Pie 2, Ed.
It's the
Okay.
only book he's
Three?
read.
2.
Okay.
Two.
I think that was 2.
Two. I pulled the American Pie 2.
3 is wedding. Show some
And
respect.
4 is disappointing.
But it was good to see the guys back.
Oh.
And the
That
girls.
movie stunk.
I never think I saw the third
Jim
one.
could have used some Roman.
Yeah, oh yeah. Jim needed the Roman.
I mean,
That was a time Roman would have been hot.
You know-
Roman is hot, but I'm just saying, like, if like American Pie, I think like that's just the perfect.
we should shoot like a green screen commercial for Roman where we like reenact the scene, but now he's got Roman.
One of us.
who's
Yeah.
going to play Nadia? Not one of us.
Tom?
I think the thing is
I want to paint you like a French girl.
Yeah.
Can we do that scene, Tom?
Can we do the Roman ad read?
Yeah. I mean,
you
we're
know,
still doing
Jim
it.
had so much problem with application as well. Like obviously
Yeah.
he uses super glue.
Yeah.
He
Tough.
could have got this right because they're super easy to use.
Super easy, fast acting.
And discreet.
I mean, to his
Discreet.
defense,
His
at
parents
least
would
it
have
wasn't
never
an
walked
apple
in
pie
on
ad.
those.
Yeah.
does not transfer to your partner. That apple pie, it would never would have felt the goddamn thing.
What do you think about that, Dave? You think if he used a swipe before he fucked the apple pie, it would have lasted a little longer?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, even like I think it's
I mean, if you're practicing,
safe to say that any one of us in a position with Nadia, Shannon, Elizabeth, in her prime, we're not lasting long.
you're not bringing the
missionary?
stopwatch.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Like leave the stopwatch at home, right, Ed?
What about-
Always.
What
You
about
know, if-
reverse spider monkey?
I mean, if I had access to, if I was in Jim's position in American Pie 1, and had access to Roman swipes, I think I would have been able to get my fingers in her vagina before, like I blew my load.
You foul.
How am I
Say
being
it,
foul?
Ed.
I'm saying
Ed.
it like it is. That's how it went for him.
Actually,
Yeah,
this is a
that's
good,
not foul. That's a good.
He's not being foul.
No, I don't
No,
think
she
so.
was like trickling his fingers down her stomach, and then he's like,
yeah.
Yeah, how about that? That was foul.
Yeah, that was a little too much.
Well, I'm just trying to reenact the scene, Jesus. But like, if he had Roman swipes,
Yeah. How would he get them?
I mean, all you got to do is go to Roman.
Get
Wow,
Roman.
Dave. The
Get
only
Roman.
part they're paying for.
Got a guy with the Simpsons
GetRoman.com
avatar.
/redline promo code Chicago, and you get $5 off your first online order.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Your first
getroman.com
month of
/
swipes.
redline.
Your first month of swipes.
Yeah.
That's right.
So-
Month for $5.
Yep.
So
Get-
you fucked up the promo. You gave a code that doesn't exist.
Can you give it to us again, Carl?
All right,
just
so
it's clear.
it's getroman.com / redline. That's it. Go there, and your first month of swipes, just $5.
And I've said this many a time. They're very generous about what they deem a month.
Oh, I like that.
So
I like
they
that.
think you're having a lot of sex in a month. Just saying.
Well, we got some horny boys in this office.
We do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love when he does the yeah.
That's kind
That's
of
it. You do it. You do that. Yeah.
the
That's like
I mean, I
is
could
it
talk-
Beavis or Butthead who goes yeah?
they go yeah, cool.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that's Butthead. Beavis is like
It almost is kind of like the Homer when he's thinking about donuts too, when he's like drool like the Homer Simpson.
At the start of quarantine, I watched Beavis and Butthead Do America for the first time in fucking years.
oh, that's
And
on Netflix
It
too.
hold
that
up.
movie is fucking hysterical.
Mike Judge is good, man.
Mike Judge is good, and
like
what's his face is in that
Yeah.
movie? He's the bad guy in the movie. Die Hard. Why am I blanking on his name?
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis is the main voiceover for the bad guy in that movie, which is kind of odd, but
Interesting career arc for Bruce Willis. He's
absolutely hilarious movie.
good. Big Bruce Willis guy.
They just wanted to get laid.
All right, let's get to the Versteeg interview. We got some great stuff. This guy's awesome, Stanley Cup champion, and it's great to hear from him.
Yeah, he was awesome. I love Steger.
Whoosh.
All right, we're in the interview portion of today's show. Hockey season is back, so we had to have a hockey guest on. We got Kris Versteeg, 2010 champion, 2015 champion. I think you won an ice dancing competition too after you retired. So, Kris, thanks for joining us.
Just a winner.
Thanks for having me.
Just a winner.
Third place, actually. Third place. But I beat Brian Bickle, and that's all that matters.
I was looking for GIFs, and like I typed it in this morning, GIFs, whatever, and like his hair looked fantastic in the final. he was dancing with some clown face woman, and he turns over. I'm like, ooh, Bickle, looking like got the hair treatment, got the Edzo treatment going. Like you're looking very good. So, but yeah, I'm thrilled to have you. I haven't seen you since this guy brought me to the cup party in 2015. You and I were spraying champagne out of Rocket, and you helped me drink out of the cup. So thanks for that too.
Yeah, that sounds like good memories. I remember when that window would be open, right, and all the fans would be down below.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was sick.
Yeah.
We'd be spraying them with champagne. What a memory.
Yeah,
What a time.
I was in line to get with you guys at Tavern was the first stop, and I had a hard time getting in. I was like, because there was like a million people there, and I'm a fucking nobody. And then Scott walks us in, and then like an hour later, I'm looking down at the people that I was like just in that crowd. I'm like, look at these pigeons. Like, let's spray them with champagne. So much better than them now.
Peasants.
Yeah, yeah. But that I was telling Scott on the way here. Scott's also he's my intern and chauffeur. He drove me to work today, and I was like, yeah, for whatever reason, like all my memories of that night, like you're there. Like I would like you were just like.
Yeah?
You were like always within 6 feet of me for whatever reason. I was probably more like within 6 feet of you since I was the last person there. But I was like, yeah, like every memory I have from that night, although they all are fuzzy, like I just like every time I would look up, I'm like, there's Versteeg. So
Yeah,
it's great to
they
actually
were-
finally talk to you.
Yeah, it is great to nicely talk to you because in Rocket there was not much talking again, especially that night. It was just screaming and spraying booze everywhere.
Oh yeah.
But that was a sick setup there. That was great. Is it still open, Rocket?
I think it actually closed.
I think it might have been a COVID
yeah.
casualty.
But that
weird.
setup, like on our like cup run afterwards, that was probably the most fun place. Like that little back corner we had, and everyone out on the street, and like you said, somebody let Chief in there,
Yep.
and like he's spraying champagne on people, free drinks on the sidewalk. So, but that was a fun night for sure.
Sound like my dad when we won the Stanley Cup in 2010. He was like holding the cup at what was the place we got off Harry Carey's, and everyone's like, "Where the fuck's the cup?" And Roy's holding it. Like,
I wouldn't put that past your
This
dad
guy.
for sure. Oh man, your dad's a legend.
Where are you
Yeah,
living
bro.
now?
So I'm in Toronto, Whitby, just outside of Toronto, about 40 minutes, and I also have a place in Lethbridge. It's where I'm from, but I don't get back as much, especially in today's world. But I'm mainly out here in Ontario now.
Okay. And then what is this? I mean, I've seen this K logo, Clever. It was like is it called Clever?
Yeah, it's called Clever. Yeah, it's kind of a funky way to spell it.
Yeah,
But,
I was like, maybe this guy just can't read. This he
do
just
you
tried
know
his
how
best.
hard it is to think of names, and then the names that, like, obviously probably coming up with the podcast too, you got to find domains, you got to find Instagram handles, you got to find everything, right? So you got to get clever
Yep.
with the way you spell things.
No
But,
pun intended.
no pun intended. No, but
Yeah.
Clever, after I was retired, I was doing some broadcasting, and then a bunch of parents who they always wanted me to look at their kids' clips. So they wanted to send me clips, but it fucking took forever to do on these other platforms. And I was like, this is bullshit. It takes forever to do. All I want to do is be able to pause it, scrub it, and draw. That's it. Right. So me and my business partner were like, why don't we just build our own platform? So that's what we've done over the last years. We've compiled all this knowledge and talked to a lot of people, and we've created Clever, and it's actually soft launching tomorrow.
Oh.
And we have a new UX UI company that we teamed up with in Chicago, actually, and they're helping put in a bit of a face paint. So we're going to launch in about probably November 1st, like more of a hard launch. But man, it's been a lot of time. We actually have, I want to teach you a little bit about our clip button too, though, what
Yeah.
we came up with, why the name Clever came. So when you're filming for 5 minutes on a regular phone, and say if your kid scores a goal at the 5-minute mark, you've saved 5 minutes of video, and in 4 minutes and 50 seconds of that video, you're like, what the fuck am I doing, right? So because all you need is the goal,
Yeah.
right? You don't want the rest of it. So basically on ours, you're filming for 5 minutes. And if your kid scores a goal, you just tap this button. It'll go back 3 seconds up to a minute and get rid of everything else. So you can leave your camera on for an hour and just clip every time your kid does something you want. Instead of having an hour of video, you have like 30 seconds of video. So that's like what we created. And now you can also annotate over that video and send it back. So yeah, it's been about a year of using that platform to teach kids on, and now trying to get it out to the world.
That's awesome.
For sport, you're waiting for something to happen, right? You could have your your recorder on for 30 minutes. Nothing will happen, right?
Yeah.
So keep pumping it.
Yeah.
Stiggs, can I send you some clips? Maybe I can get back in the back plane. You can give me some
Hey,
tips.
coming back? Austrian League?
Fuck no. I'm done.
No, I'm
I'm gonna go play minor league baseball. That's the next move.
Yeah, you got that in you? I think maybe you should get an internship with Clever in here and call it a day.
You should see me in my Thursday night league.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Softball league. Well, then let's talk about that 2010 team, because that to me, it was like it almost kind of came out of nowhere, and you were part of that. It was like that was one of those trades where I think it was like Brandon Bochenski or somebody like that, and it's like, oh, we actually got like a nasty player, fast hands, Kris Versteeg. What is like your takeaway or like your best memories from those? I mean, I just played golf with Joel, and he had some stories about you. Like, what was it like playing for Joel? I guess would be my first question. Like your side of the story. He said he liked to ride you.
Oh yeah, he loved to give it to Steger.
I'll just say, if you don't have thick skin, you can't play for Joel. That's number one. It's not like he's like being, he's not trying to ruin your life, Rude. He's just he's a hard fucking guy to play for if he's on you. Like, he's gonna let his horses run. He's gonna give them the leash. But the guys that sit below the horses, never really the fourth liners, but those second, third liners, especially third liners, he's going to ride you because he thinks it'll send a message to the top guys and the bottom. So if you kind of sit in that second tier of player, third tier of player, you better be ready.
You're in the kill zone.
Oh yeah.
You're in the kill zone. Like,
yeah.
Fuck, you're in the kill zone. And so, again, I could go through just countless memories, but I remember going down the wing against Colorado. This is in 2008. Joel's like third or fourth game there, right? We just fired Savvy. We're playing Colorado. I'm flying down the wing. I put the puck through my legs and I shoot it through my legs. It goes off the crossbar and out, right? And I'm like, holy fuck, that's cool. You know, I've always wanted to shoot the puck through my legs in the NHL. It's going to be on TSN. It's going to be everywhere. Apparently at the same time, Joel's like, fucking Versteeg, junior shit, you know? So I get back to the bench and he's screaming junior shit at me, you know? And he's like, did he just do that? So he screams at me on the bench. In between periods, he pulls me into the little hallway, you know, Scott, where you come on the ice.
Yeah.
And you can still hear him screaming at me because it's literally just a hallway and then there's the room. And he's like, Versteeg, did you fucking do that? Are you kidding me? Junior shit. And so again, same shit happens, screams at me the rest of the game. We go home, go to sleep, wake up in the morning, practice. He shows it, first clip of practice, right? And he's snapping it through. Everyone's dying laughing. He's like, are you fucking kidding me? That's not funny, you know? We go out for practice, Buff and Kaner shoot every puck through their legs, right? Just to prove a point, right? So that's kind of how it was. But, you know, he rode me and he got a lot out of me in a lot of situations. And again, it sucked to be that guy. I'm not going to lie. You don't like fucking anyone all over you every single day, every game. But if it's what he needed to do in order to get his top players to play their best and get a point across, then I guess I was the guy. And I'm fine with that. It was just, it did suck at times, especially later on. At one point, I'm like, I got a fucking child now, man. Like, I got a kid.
You're like, I'm a grown up. Stop yelling at me.
Well,
I'm a parent.
It sounds like you should be credited with like half an assist for every one of Kane's. So like you're like,
I've often said that.
Yeah. But also, I think he picked Steger because like you have the right personality for it. You know, like he knew you could take it, and like you also gave it a little bit too. So like, you were the perfect guy. Like at least when we played together, like to be that guy on the team because like you could take it and not cry about it and fucking, you know, work harder, play better, and also you would give it back a little bit. So it was you were the guy for that role. You nailed it.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't like just sitting there. I would tell him to fuck off. Like it wasn't just, but like confrontation brings out confrontation, right? And no one's just going to sit there and take it all the time. And I think Q understood that. It's not like if Q gave it to me for like 2 or 3 days, if I told him, hey, lay the fuck off or something, you know, he knew. He wouldn't get angry at me for saying that. It was just, you know, we'd talk about it and move on. But yeah, it's I would be lying too to tell you I would always be like upbeat and happy. You know, it's just how can you at times? But you try to always bring your best to the rink and be like that guy, because that's kind of what I was. I was there to keep guys light, keep guys happy, and also try to play my game at the same time. But yeah, he's a legend, man. What I've tried to say about Q forever is he's the best gambler in the game. He has his 2 guys or 3 guys that he goes to, and every other guy on those wing spots, they're all interchangeable. So like Sharp would be there, say in 2010 at the center, and then the wings would be me, Lad, Buff, and other guys, Brower, and we'd all be competing for each other each night for those spots. And if I sucked for one shift, Buff was there. And if Buff sucked for one shift, Brower was there. It was just like, he had so many pieces to do that with, but every time he made that change, that guy would fucking score a goal. So if I got taken off the line and then Brower would go there and score, I'd be like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm happy for my team, but I'm like, that just made me look like an asshole, because now in this paper the next day, they're gonna be like, oh, he takes Versteeg off the line and Brower scores. But at the same time, you win. That's how you get the best out of each other. And he's just insane at gambling. He just always knew who was going at that time. And that's why he's one of the best coaches, if not one of the best coach ever, right?
100%. Sounds like he should be a better handicapper when it comes to horses then.
Yeah.
You would think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that story, I got a little tip from your old buddy Patrick Sharp about, I was asking for what to ask you. So when you said Bufflin was going through his legs in practice that next day, he also told me a story that Buff just one day decided to break all your sticks, like in practice. Yeah. So like, what was it related to that? What was that story?
No, so this story, we're going out for practice, and I have no sticks. Buff broke my sticks, right? So this is pretty much before.
How many sticks? How many sticks are we talking?
Like 2 or 3 at least.
Okay.
So what I never carried more than 2 or 3. Some guys do 6, 7 sticks, right?
Yep.
I always had 3, and then my 2 sticks I'd kind of flip-flop between. But he broke my 2 sticks, so I must have broke one the night before, or 3, whatever. So I go out to practice. I'm using Adam Burish's stick for practice, and so I take Buff's stick, and he doesn't know it, and I hum it in the stands, right? and so now Buff's got 1 stick for practice. Buff breaks his stick like the fucking second shift of practice, like second shift. He starts looking for his stick, and he's having a bad day, right? He's having a bad practice. And now he has to fucking grab Adam Burish's other stick. So me and Buff are practicing with Burish's sticks. And at the end of practice, Buff has been terrible, and I'm riding him all practice. And like, he was kind of shit talking me at the start because he broke mine, but now I'm shit talking him.
Yeah.
And there's like a puck sitting there, and we're all standing there, and I'm still shit talking, and Buff claps a puck and hits me right in the chest, like in the pile, And we're all like, he could have killed somebody. He was so angry. And he had to use Adam Burish's stick, and he was terrible with it. And then again, he took it out on me. But
well, it's probably 6 inches too short.
That's what I mean. It's like a mini stick for him,
right?
Oh yeah. But it was funny how it kind of ended up turning out. I couldn't believe his stick broke, and then he couldn't find his, and then. Yeah, it was just a fucking shit show.
I love that you took one off the chest, though.
Yeah, I took one right off the chest. Like a Buff clapper. Thank God it was Burish's stick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Still probably like high 80 mile per hour right in your chest. That's a broken.
Oh, yeah. No, he's a beauty, though. But that didn't have, I don't think that had any, I can't remember if it had any correlation with the through the legs or any of that, but it for sure happened.
Do you want me to tell you something? I knew it didn't have anything to do with the between the legs things. I was just looking for a transition for that question.
Yeah.
I just really wanted to ask that question.
Yeah, that's all I wanted. So then you go away for a few years. What like how many teams do you play for in the interim? Like between your trade and then coming back in 15 or 14?
3.
Okay.
So I played with Toronto. We weren't very good when I got there. I got traded at the deadline, and then I went to Philly. And right after Philly, I went right to Florida and was in Florida for 2.5 years. So it was like crazy fast, like 3 teams within a year.
And then you had a stint with Carolina too, like with this guy, right? Were you guys overlap or no?
No, you were there before I was there.
So right after we won the Cup in 2015, I went from Chicago to Carolina, played there till the playoffs. We were out of the playoffs, and then I went to LA for the playoff run.
He was just a ringer. They bring him in for playoff runs. Fucking guy made too much money. We had to get rid of him.
No, it was probably like, oh, we're bringing in this guy. He's still got what he had in 2012, and then it's like, oh shit.
Whoops.
Oh, he can only play power play now.
Just put me on the half wall and fuck off.
Fast hands. I mean, that was one of my favorite memories. Was that Vancouver series where you had the big goal But I think that might have been 9 or 10.
2010, yeah.
10, yeah. So on the way, but like that, like to me, like when I close my eyes and I think about those runs, like you're there with like maybe little spots missing from you got in Joel's doghouse in 15. But other than that, like you're like a seminal guy. Like I think of you as 32, but 32, we had our seats were like right by the blue line on the where the Hawks shoot twice, that west end. I can just still picture you like sniping that one kind of like low on the circle to win that game against Vancouver. But so I guess like my question about playing the other places, like how did it compare playing here to those other cities, like in terms of the fans and like how, and like you came when it was still kind of on the come up, like how does this market compare to like your other stops?
Honestly, nothing's compared. Even like post Chicago, when I came back in 13, 14, 15, like it was obviously a crazy hockey market.
Yeah.
But to me, I'd never seen crazier fans, and maybe it's just because I was younger and I wasn't used to it. Maybe I'm wrong, but that 2008, 9, 10 years were the two craziest years of my career, still hands down.
Even more than Toronto?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
Toronto was just different. We weren't good though, right?
Okay.
Like we weren't a good team. We weren't in the playoffs. I don't know. Yeah, like it was really hard going to Toronto, playing on the best team, and then going to Toronto. We're not a good team. Every day it's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? You know, you got like 30 cameras in your face. And then I go to Philly and we lose in the playoffs. Things kind of change up and I go right to Florida. And then in Florida, you don't really have it was a great experience. I loved Florida, but it was like, at that point I had double hernia surgery, knee ACL blew out. I had hip surgery. So kind of in this whole time, I was going through a lot of personal things with injuries and also seeing like, man, it's crazy that like the fans aren't full every night. You know, we go from being like fucking rock stars in 2008, 9, 10. And I'm like sitting here with like my leg up for fucking 2 years, basically in Florida, which that's how I was kind of thinking at the time. But then when I came back to Chicago, I was really worried about where my game was at. I was only 5 months after ACL when I started to play again in Florida. And then I got traded back and I was like, and I had lingering hip issues with my hip surgery to where I needed new hip surgery in 18, sorry. But I was like, something is like, I am not the same player that left right now.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm clearly not. I can't skate. I have no power. My knee's fucking swollen every plane ride. And I'm like, these Hawk fans are going to eat me up. You know, they're going to hate me. So I was in a real vulnerable position, I thought, mentally, 2013, 14. And then I felt like I brought it back on the rails in 2014. I got back in real good shape. I got my power back. And then right at New Year's happened, I broke my hand. Like my finger was down here and I had to go into surgery and pin my hand back. Yeah. And so I came right back for probably 10, 15 games before playoffs. And I was just shit again. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't find my game, the game that I had pre New Year's. And it was a tough kind of playoff run. You know, I had osteus pubis for the one round where it's like inflamed pubic bone. And
gross.
And again, I wasn't playing good, and I missed like a couple games. But I was thankful I got to come in the finals and just feel a part of it.
Yeah.
Again, 2010, I was like a pretty big piece. You know, I'll never be the piece that Buffer these guys were, but I felt like I still had a pretty key cog in the wheel. And 2015, I didn't. So it was different. You
mindset. You did, Steger.
But it's still like, you know how much you contribute when you won the cup in 2010, and then you know how much you've contributed from 2015. So I still have this exact same love and feel for winning. It's just you understand what piece of the team you were in each year, in each section. So again, kind of the whole question wrapping around back to like being in Chicago both times. 2008, 9, 10 to me, I'd never felt anything like that. It was like a rock star, man. Like we go to bars, there'd be thousands of people in the bar standing up, just like, you know, like watching us party. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was just like, and we would reciprocate, I thought, that love back to the fans a lot, right? We'd buy them drinks, they'd buy us. It was a real incredible atmosphere. Kind of by 2015, the team was so big, you couldn't do that, right? Almost. Right. So maybe that's why, I don't know. Plus we were all a little bit older. But yeah, that to me, my two favorite years ever, 2008, 9, 10. And then obviously winning 15 was great, but it was just different, a different time, right?
Yeah, and so you're a rock star. Is that why you decided to give like the rap at the parade because you were just like, I'm just gonna ride this rock star wave?
Normally, when as a kid, I would always try to piss off my buddy's dad. I would sing in the truck all the time, and he'd fucking lose it. I would sing anything. And as I kind of kept getting older and older, if you go to a party, you'd sing, you'd notice people would think it's funny. And then finally, when I got to the NHL, everyone's like, oh, you're always singing at the parties. Why don't you sing at the bar now with all the boys? And then all of a sudden we won. Sharpie's like, let's get you on stage to sing. I'm like, why not? I don't really know where I am at this moment anyways. I was pretty hammered, But so it was just kind of something I did from a young age just to entertain and kind of joke around. And it kind of transitioned into that. I would never claim I'm a rapper, though. I'm fucking brutal.
It was brutal. It was brutal. Yeah, but it was still entertaining.
Yeah, but you got the balls to do it. You got the balls to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there was one time, like, Cutler liked to sing too, Jay Cutler, great guy.
He's a friend of the program.
Yeah, we there was 1 or 2 nights me and him we were rapping at a nightclub together. They turned off the music and me and him sang karaoke. It was great.
That's fucking wild. Are you following the team in the NHL at large now, or I know you were doing some media stuff. Like, are you up to speed?
So no, I'm not up to speed this year. I just kind of stepped back from radio and TV this year. I was doing TV on Sportsnet. This year a couple things, but I'm just kind of focused on my company right now. But I would like to get back into media. I mean, maybe in the future. I've had a lot of possible opportunities, but just right now it's not working out.
Well, maybe I'll have an open competition between you and Scott here for this.
Fuck off, Steger. Stay in Canada. This is my job. Penalty shootout. My job. Yeah. Dude, Steger would roast me. He's a sassy player. He is. He's got the handles. In practice, especially when you're by yourself, I would just might as well just fucking throw my gloves on the ice. Be like, when you have no pressure on you, he's gonna score every time.
Yeah.
Do you lose the feel for dangles away from the ice, or is that something you can always go to?
I mean, ask Kris. I don't know. I'm a goalie. I don't dangle.
No, I still skate with my kids and I coach my kids. I feel like I don't know if maybe I'm still close to the game that you can still feel like you can stick handle and shoot, but I'm sure at some point when you're probably 3, is that what you're kind of asking? You kind of can still dangle and
you still got the feel. You still got hands. Yeah.
If you get on the ice, for sure, he's the best player on the ice.
He always had very fast hands.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's always a time, maybe 3, 4, 5 years out where you're like, oh boy, I don't got it anymore. I don't know. I would assume, but right now, I just retired about 1.5 years ago, and I skate with the kids all the time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all I really cared about is a nice button tight souse,
Like I said, a real sassy pass.
Yeah.
What?
I have a question about.
Well, this is the place for it.
Okay. Do you mind?
I don't care.
I don't know what your question is.
You're here.
I know. I want to sit in and just kind of be a part of the conversation and, take this stuff in. And as you're talking about the 2008 to 2010 years, and one thing I've picked up sitting next to Chief is that, we do have these young faces we're going to be building around. And you came in and were part of this super young superstar package that revitalized the Chicago Blackhawks. So I'm curious, it wasn't that long ago, but my understanding is the game's changed. If you were with these guys or you had to talk to these guys like Kirby Doc and stuff, how much would your experiences be different, do you think? Or would you be in a better position today to thrive, or just kind of how has that changed?
Wow, that's a
is that fucking? I'm sorry, I was just thinking it's just crazy because I feel like we're in the same spot. We're hoping to get a.
Would you be rapping with Cutler, or would you be playing Fortnite with the boys?
Yeah, shit like that.
I mean, I don't know. I can't answer that. I mean, near the end of my career, I think when I was young, I'd still maybe go out and have some fun. And, that was just kind of me. I can't get encapsulated in just one thing, right? Mm-hmm. I did need I needed to go have dinner. I needed to see friends. I needed to talk to my friends back home. Other things besides just hockey. I never was really into video games, so I can't say I would ever do Fortnite like the current cast. But I think you're right. The game has changed. Social media has changed what players can do. Mm-hmm. If they go out and have a drink now, they can be vilified. But what's one beer? You know what I mean? If they're just hanging out and talking with their buddies.
Well, there's gluten.
So that's kind of yeah.
There's gluten. So.
But for me, you're right. The game has changed. I still think I've played through enough of this generation to understand today's athlete. Where back then, when I was coming in the league in 2006 in the minors, 2007, it was you start on the fourth line and you shut your fucking mouth. You don't say a word, right? You work your way up.
Yeah.
And today's athlete, they work their way down. So every player who comes in now, it's like even the media, it's like, oh, this guy's a first liner in the A. He needs to play first line in the NHL, right? Back then, it was like, this guy, he's going to fucking play on the fourth or third line and he's going to work his ass up. And once he sucks, if I struggle, then I come right back down the lineup. Today, every kid gets the chance and then they come down the lineup, right? You kind of start at the top and you come down. And that's where I get a little bit worried about the resiliency of today's player at times is, are they going to fight and are they willing to do whatever it takes to come back up the lineup, right? Because, they're not every guy's Patrick Kane where you're going to come in. And even though Quenneville would send him down the lineup at times to like let him know like, hey, your job's not, it's safe, but whatever, it's not always safe. That's the thing where I think I always tried to talk about it, especially with the Matthew Tkachuks and the young guys, is just first off, be resilient. There's going to be shitty times, but be ready. If you get put on the fourth line, fuck it. Be ready. You got to fight even harder to get back up the lineup. And that's where I dog on Keefe all the time. That's why I think he's done a terrible job in Toronto is Marner struggles all playoffs, right? And instead of like putting Marner on the second line or third line to piss him off, to force him to get back up the lineup, he just kept him on the first line and then would put Nylander up there. And then it's like three guys playing the same way. You know what I mean? It's never going to change. That's where you need coaches to put these guys in hard situations, especially throughout the season, to get them built for the playoffs so they're ready for these situations and ready to go down the lineup and come back up. So in a long way of answering that, I think I understand today's athlete enough with my experience and to see their experience to do what I would like to say to the new athlete. And I kind of pride myself that, I know games change, I know the times change, and I always try to change with it, while also keeping respect to what's happened in the past. But I think I would understand what to say.
Okay. And I guess that would be, an interesting question, or maybe someone should do a study, like what is more effective way of coaching? Because, we've seen now Joel's in Florida. He's having a lot of success. Like people are pretty hot on them going into this year. I doubt he's changed that much as a coach. I'm sure he's got a guy that he loves to ride on that team the way he rode you. Would you, having been kind of on both sides, understanding, would you rather play for a guy that say, fuck you, man, like you're on the fourth line or you're in the press box, but like or would you rather have a guy that kind of is just like, hey, you're on the first line and like we'll sink or swim? Like I guess like what do you think is the better way if you were a coach? How would you be? More like Joel or more like the modern guys?
Yeah, I think at the NHL level, Joel's makes the most sense. To me. Now you are going to have certain guys that come through, certain superstars that you're going to put in those top situations. But I do think there is a sense of you need to be respectful to the person and the human in a sense too, right? You can't just demean them and basically cast them off if they're playing like shit. I do think the way that Joel coaches to me makes the most sense to win. Whether it comes from matchups or what he's doing with his own internal lineup to get the best out of the lineup. Because I don't think he's trying to ruin guys, like say Babcock, right? Yeah. He's not trying to demean them and completely fucking, confidence kill them. It's like, okay, here's what it is. As long as you're laying it out for guys, I've actually found black and white, then they'll understand. If you give them like, okay, Kris, you're third line. Like you're not out there just to score goals. You're there to check too, right? As long as you give a guy a role and he understands it's black or white, they can generally thrive in that situation. I find a little bit with the modern game is there's too much gray area. Players don't quite understand their roles or where they fit in the lineup. They all think they're the top guy. So I do think it is a bit of a blend. You need a bit of a blend of both. But if I was going to go with one or the other, I would go with Joel at the current moment.
Okay. Yeah, and I completely agree. And like you were saying earlier, the way that Joel operates, like, if you're off, you're getting moved down the line. Like, we had the utmost respect for Joel. Like, I still do love the guy. But, like, he taught you kind of how to get, like, punched in the face and, like, come back and work harder and, like, earn your spot back. And, like you were saying, too, like, I was beyond impressed with the attitude and like the intensity of the guys in our playoff run in 2015 who had been playing for Joel for so long. Like it was like the toughest, like the thickest skin, like the toughest group of guys. Yeah. Like, and you can't say that. I mean, in the modern day,
hockey players, like, you know, don't want to offend anybody or like, you know, make anybody cry, but like our group, and I can only speak for 2015, we're fucking nails, man.
Yeah.
Like that's why we came back in those games like down 3-0, you know, shit like that, because like we were built throughout the season to like be ready for like any adversity, anything. Like we knew like we could do it. Like we were fucking just tough.
Yeah.
All those top teams, though, they all have a sense of, again, like I was kind of talking about, inner competition. Like, I want to be better than Patrick Sharp. I know I'm not. I never have been, never will be. But I had that in me, believing like I want to play more than him tonight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Sharp knew that. And Sharp's one of my best friends. There was no hostility there. And then again with Buff or Brower, it was just. And on the second wave through, you have Teuvo and you have all these other guys. There's such an inner competition, and you would fucking call guys out. Like if I didn't get Duncan the puck, he'd be like, "Wake up, Versteeg!" Like you're like, he's like, I won the Norse, man. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah,
you know?
we interviewed Seabrook not too long ago, and I was trying to like explain like our locker room dynamic, like how like if you fucked up, like you're gonna hear about it. And like, but it wasn't
and
personal.
not just from Joel.
You're still gonna have a beer after the game. Like we're still best friends, but like we pushed each other like to the brink of like to like reach, like pull the best out of everybody.
Yeah.
And like I loved our team, man, in 2015 because like you would hear it from anybody if you fucking messed up like on the ice. Yeah. And I remember I told the story on here, like my third NHL game, I left the puck on Dunks' backhand behind the net. And he's like, "Leave it on my fucking forehand." And I was like,
Well, like Brower, I got a funny one too. Like me and Brow were playing in Calgary, 2016. We're on a line, and we're screaming at each other on the bench. Yeah, I'm like, "Brower, give me the fucking puck." He's like, "Fuck you." We're going at it. And then all of a sudden we sit down, we play the rest of the game, and Gulletson calls us in. He goes, "You guys can't scream at each other like that." and we're like, "What?" He's like, and I was like, "When did we scream at each other?" And he's like, "You guys were yelling at each other." I'm like, "Okay."
What's
and
the
Brower's
problem?
Like, yeah, and Brower's kind of like, "What the fuck?" Like, yeah, like, we were giving it to each other, but I never even thought anything of it a second later. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of how everyone was wired. Like, again, when I was playing with Kane, if I didn't give him the puck, he's like, "Are you kidding me? You're not giving me the puck."
Oh, he was the worst on the bench. Kaner, he will fucking let you know. The second his foot touches the bench, like when he gets off the ice, he will come find you on the bench and just let you know exactly what you did wrong and why you didn't like it and why he needed you to do this, and then just politely walk back down the bench.
He would just sit there like this. When he's sitting on the bench, he'd be like, "Holy fuck, Versteeg. Holy. Like, are you kidding me? You're not kidding me, that?" I'd be like, yeah. And then all of a sudden, Quenneville would come down, "Versteeg, fuck you!"
That's great. Well, Steger, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I think we hit, I don't know, I think I told you 15 minutes or something. We've been going over a half hour now. So I'll let you get back to your family and your company and all that shit. But there is an open competition for this internship. So if you want to get back into media, you just let me know.
Fuck off, stay in Canada. I'll call the Border Patrol or something.
Yeah.
We're hiring interns, too, to talk about KPIs and things like
out.
that.
I'm out.
Sorry, no
I'm
KPIs.
Out.
Oh,
no KPIs.
You don't pay either? I'll come work for you, too.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thanks so much. That was great. Anything else?
For sure.
All right, Stiggs. Great to see you, man.
Great seeing you, brother. Good seeing you guys. Thanks.
Yeah, that was great, man. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
So that's Steger. I think it's cool to get the context behind the Q stuff.
Yeah, that was really good. And like, I was hoping Versteeg would be able to have a little bit of commentary inside of like this upcoming year, but he didn't. But he had one comment that kind of stuck with me, and he called Joel Quenneville the best gambler in the history of coaching for sports. And what he meant by that is that Joel would have all these, and Versteeg, for the guys who weren't in the, basically this is for Eddie and Dave. But he said like, hey, like Joel had a bunch of guys who were capable of playing on that second line. So Versteeg would kind of go between the second and third line or the bench depending on how he was playing. And same thing with Bufflin, and same thing with, with Sharpie a little bit and Taravina and all these guys. And Joel would just have this feel being like, "Hey, Brower, why don't you go up with Sharp on this line?" And then they would score. And he would just get that right, like he just instinctually had all the time. But it is kind of like gambling, and it fosters this like spirit of competition because guys want to be playing in the bigger minutes. They want to be playing with other like really good players. And Joel would kind of just pull him out, and then whoever he put in that, and Versteeg was like, they would score like immediately, and then like I would look like a fucking jackass because the paper would say, oh, Joel took Versteeg out, and instantly that line got good. But he was just like, he was the best at that, and
that feel.
It felt like having 3 shooting guards off the bench, like the way he was describing it. It's like, yo, if one like fucks up and doesn't set the screen, like the next guy's in, and like just a rotation, which I thought, it's just cool to think being one of those guys and being in that moment of like competing in Quinville,
or a guy that would come off like, hey, like we got a bunch of guys, like, let's take this guy off the bench, and comes out and hits 3 threes in a row, like, and Joel would just be able to pick that guy who would go in that situation and do it. And for the first time in a long time, the Blackhawks do have like that ability again. They got a lot of guys who can kind of vacillate up and down the lineup, and it's not like you're not looking down the bench and being like, all these guys suck. So you have Taves coming back. I think that's been much talked about. That's going to be big. Doc going to have a full year. He's healthy. Now he's his 3rd year as a pro. You expect him to come up. But Doc, when he was 18, they were playing him like a lot of first-line minutes. He was not ready for that. Now, they've added so much and changed the roster, Tyler Johnson, this and that. They're penciling Doc in for the 3rd line, which is exactly where you want a young 20-year-old center to be, because he's going to get favorable matchups against, kind of the underbelly of a lot of teams, where he's going to be playing, good minutes, but not like the most important minutes, and he's not playing against Victor Hedman. He's playing against, like kind of guys who are like fighting for jobs himself. So he should be more productive in a more limited role, and just like you're getting your bigger bang for your buck. I love Tyler Johnson, the idea at least of Tyler Johnson playing with Patrick Kane. I used to have a big hard on for Nick Schmaltz, because Schmaltz had that speed down the middle, and then what do you have being behind that? Kane going east-west. So it's like you have Schmaltz drive the middle lane, Kane finding DeBrincat, and then if the defense is just better, that just means more opportunities with the puck on a stick for Kane and Taves and all these other guys. Like, everybody knows I hate Stan. The roster looks pretty good. The roster looks pretty good. I have like there is like a worst case scenario where this thing could blow up. But as we sit here right now, you can say pretty confidently that they look like a top 5 team in that Central Division. And I think the Central Division's getting 5 teams in, because they're still doing that wild card, and then they'll be able to, I think they're going to be able to get in the playoffs. So we have that bet on the sports book for Bulls and Hawks to both make it. What was that going off at?
Plus 260.
I think that's a good bet. I think everyone would agree the Bulls are definitely getting in.
Yeah, you won't be able to get it if you're listening now, but at the same time.
Oh, yeah, true. But
hopefully you guys got it, and if you guys don't, you need to follow us on Twitter and Instagram and all this stuff so that we get the promos.
The point remains, though. Like, the Hawks, for the first time, like I would always, that's that other line I would use, is like if you squint your eye, like the years past, like you would squint your eyes and just maybe hope that like all those red flags would turn like pink. It's constantly like you flopped, you got 2-7 on the flop and you're trying to maybe get something out of it. Now it's just like they got a lot of chips and they got a lot of cards to deal with, and I think they're going to be fun. They're going to be competitive. And that's the other thing too. No more Nylanders, okay? They got like Tyler Johnson's a little guy. Were you there that night? You met him, right?
Was Tyler Johnson there?
Were you there with me
at Uproar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like he's like right about your height.
I mean, I don't know.
You couldn't pick him out.
I couldn't pick him out.
But he looked like you probably couldn't pick him out. You could pick out Seth Jones.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because Seth Jones is 6'4" and like a stud.
Yeah, he looks
Tyler Johnson, you probably thought he was like their agent or something, or an accountant.
Have you stood next to DeBrincat?
No, he's little. He's 5'6".
Yeah, but like nowhere near the bone density I got, right?
No, he's got some bone density.
Does he?
Yeah, like he's hard guy to knock.
I like to back up my other short guys.
I think we're gonna do a T-shirt that's Short Kings, which is because they have that top line is gonna be Johnson, who's like 5'8", DeBrincat's 5'6", and Kane's 5'10". So we're gonna have a short Kings.
Love that
T-shirt.
That's one of my favorite shirts.
And I want on that T-shirt too.
We'll put you on. We'll put you on there too.
I love that one.
Little Monsters.
Yeah,
Taylor Gabriel.
Yeah,
Terry
Cohen. Yeah. So
where's Taylor Gabriel though?
He's out of the league.
Yeah.
Tweeting about Bears getting speed or something. He's still a Bears fan. But all right. So generally speaking, though, the show is in a better place when there's optimism on the Blackhawks.
Yeah, there's just something because it's like we would have like 5 minutes at the end. Like, what's the update of the Hawks? Well, they still suck. And I think this year it's going to be like, they're in the mix of the playoffs. And then, they I talked about the depth already. They have this situation with Strome, who I think is a really good player, who's not even in the lineup on opening night, because they have Borgstrom there. They also have Dave's favorite guy, Reichel. Didn't make the team, but he looks like he's pretty close to being NHL ready. And, Kurashev's a guy they had playing the top line center spot. Now he's on a wing, which is where he's supposed to be, and he's with Kubalik and Taves. So, he's not going to be asked to carry a line. He's just going to be asked to fit in. Their top 9 and their top 4 on paper, because their defense are going to be Cal DeHaan, friend of the program, with Seth Jones. And then Jake McCabe was another big free agent signing who's a stud, nasty, physical, loves to take guys' heads off, open ice. People are going to fall in love with him right away, because he's probably my height. I think he's 6'1", but he's mean. He plays mean.
I like that.
Yeah, and they just haven't. That's what I was saying with these, no more Nylanders. All the guys they brought in, there's no pussies of the guys that they brought in.
They were all a bunch of underwear Olympics guys, right? That had all the talent in the world, were just bitches.
The only guy who's kind of in that category would be Borgstrom. Where he's got a ton of talent, but you need the light switch to kind of come on and him to play the right way. I would rather have Strome in the lineup than him, but Borgstrom is Stan's shiny new toy of the moment. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm not a big fan of his, but everybody else. Tyler Johnson's he's a little pest. He plays fucking hard.
I like that.
Seth Jones, hard guy to play against. Jake McCabe, he will be a fan favorite, hard to play against. Connor Murphy just got a new deal. He's wearing an A this year, hard to play against. DeBrincat, he got thrown out of the World Juniors for stabbing a guy in the chest with a stick.
Happy Gilmore?
He's got it with his stick, not a skate. But yeah, he's got a little bite to him. They got a lot of guys with bite.
We hung out with Ryan Hartman a few times, and immediately he was my favorite player I ever watched, because his first shift ever, he just absolutely fucking destroyed
Annihilated that guy.
Annihilated, and he's my size.
Yeah, well, he's bigger than you.
So you said Borgstrom's the 4th?
Yeah, he was 5'9".
Borgstrom's going to be on the 3rd line.
The 3rd line.
And he's when you look, he's a guy you're holy shit, he's 6'3", he can skate. When he was in college, he was the best player in college hockey.
Yeah.
Because it was just so easy for him. He won a national championship at Denver. And he was a first round pick, and he couldn't make the Panthers last year. It just has not clicked. So he's a little bit of a reclamation project. If he ever decides to be I'm going to work hard off the ice and work hard on the ice, he could be a superstar. I just don't think it's going to happen. It would have happened by now. I think that's typically how hockey goes. He's 23. You kind of know by now. So we'll see. But he might, maybe it works. Maybe it works here for him when it wouldn't in Florida. But
that'd be nice.
Typically, Joel is right about guys.
Yeah.
Joel liked Forsling, right? And then Forsling, he leaves, and he liked Jokiharju, those young guys. Those, now Jokiharju is a top 4 guy for Buffalo, and Forsling is a top 4 guy for Florida. So it's Joel's typically right. Joel did not like Borgstrom. That makes me think that Borgstrom's not going to work out here. And there's just not and I've talked to people who are around him at Denver, and they he's got some warts to his game. But point being, they don't need him to work out. If he doesn't work out, you're stapled. You're up in the press box. You're down in Rockford. You're in Finland. Here comes Reichel. Here comes Strome. There's a lot of rumors that they might trade Strome, but they have options to make this team. If they can have a couple COVID things, they can have a couple injuries, and it won't all fall apart. So I'm the most optimistic I've been since 2017.
Wow.
So it's a good team on paper.
Now
you're right. I mean, just hearing Doc 3rd line makes me excited.
Yeah, it's good.
It really does.
And then that plays off the Versteeg comments that I liked in the interview when he was talking about when you came up with Q. He's you had to climb your ladder from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1, and then you get up there, and then maybe you got knocked down to 1-2, and just generally a trend now saying that if you're a big name or you're coming up and they want to develop you, they have more of an intention to put you on those top lines and see if you are can stick and stay.
Right.
So maybe this is or isn't, but just hearing that gives me some good juju of all right, good. We have some balance, some depth. We got enough on the first and second that less pressure, maybe so to say, an opportunity to actually lead a group out there for a little bit.
And you can look in years past, not last year but the year before. They gave Alex Nylander, because for no reason, but they didn't really have a ton of options, 45 games or something like that playing with Jonathan Taves, and he had 3 points because he's out for a Sunday skate. that if you're out for a Sunday skate now, you're in the press box. Like that's just like that because there was no like job security risks, both because they were coddled a little bit and because they just knew that there was like, what are they going to do? Call up some fucking Matthew Highmore from Rockford to take my spot? Like they knew. Now it's like, if I'm not playing hard, well, here comes Reichel. Here comes Strome. Here comes, Brandon Hagel. No, he gets bumped up into the top 6. That's another short king guy that you like. And he's a nasty little shit
I know
too.
Hagel. I know
he
Hagel,
is a little shit. Like I love that guy. If you had 20 of him, like he's not the most talented guy, you could make the playoffs with 20 Brandon Hagels.
I love that.
Just because he works his fucking bag off.
He's like an everything bagel. He just plays in all situations. No, I just
Hagel
like the
the bagel.
Hagel the bagel. I do like that nickname. That's a good one.
He just got a new contract. Like same thing. Like Kershev's not playing the right way. Hagel can play on any line with any guys, and he's just going to be a guy who helps you win. Like he's a winning type of player. They got a lot of those types of guys. Even Colleton had like a weird comment. I didn't know what it meant. That's why I kind of hate the beat guys in a way. Like he's like, yeah, like we're going to play a more winning style this year. Oh, what the fuck does that mean? Where's the follow-up question? And why were you playing a losing style?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck does that mean? So, but there's never any follow-up questions. They don't know. Like Colleton could just say bullshit and they wouldn't know either way. But I think that they're still playing that man system, which I don't love. And but I think their top 4 is good. Their top 9 is good. And
so DeBrincat's going to be the third guy in that line, right? With Kane and Johnson, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. To start the year for sure.
I mean, what an opportunity for Tyler Johnson to get it going again.
Yeah, I mean, and if you like, not to say that DeBrincat is Panarin, but they have some similarities, and like they can just snipe it, and they have like a chemistry with Kane. He's just not as dynamic or fast, but he's a very he's like a poor man's version, and he just scores goals. So, and if you remember, much different body type and much different player, but Anisimov, he got like 50 points, but just by being around. Like, he was just around. He was like luggage on that line. But it's like, just go to the net and you're going to get points. And Johnson has, like, he scored 29, 30 goals before in his career with Tampa. And if you read, I love this quote from his coach, because he got bumped down to like the third, fourth line for Tampa during this cup run.
I remember this.
Yeah, and he's like, he says, Tyler Johnson, he's the ultimate team player. He's selfless. And there was a time in this organization when we needed guys to take another step, and Johnson was one of the leaders of that. He's carried that on for 5 years now. His team's changed. Salary cap comes into play. Guys are coming up. But there was one thing we never lost faith in. That's Tyler Johnson. And so it's like his roles change, and it's like, hey, Tyler, another guy who can move up and down your lineup. They're like, hey, like Doc is really taken off. We need him playing bigger minutes. You're going down on the third line, and we might have to play wing. Johnson would just do it, and he would be productive. But you're right. Like, an opportunity to play with those two, which, Dave, like you can't skate. You could probably get like 10 points playing between those two guys, just like by accident.
Jerking off Papa Smurf in those gloves.
Yeah, Roenick, shout out Roenick.
Those two things you said, make a lot of sense and should make everyone excited about Doc on the third line and Tyler Johnson.
But here's my question: about adding the Vezina caliber goalie.
Yeah.
What if our guy Biz in that butt chiefed doofus.
Chiefed.
Butt-chinned doofus. Ryan Whitney. Would they agree with you?
Biz, I know. I saw a clip that Biz is pretty high on the Hawks too. It's just the division is so tough. It's like the toughest division in hockey. So Colorado is the clear one, and then Dallas should have a bounce back year. The Hawks, Winnipeg. I think Minnesota's awesome. I think Minnesota's very, very, very good team. And then so you need to be in the top 5, and then you never know with Nashville and St. Louis. The only team that sucks is Arizona, but all the other teams have,
ironically enough.
Yeah. But all the other teams are going to be like fighting for playoff spots. But I think the Hawks are better than St. Louis and Nashville, so they should be able to at least get to 5th place, which would probably be a wild card spot. So I'm excited. I'm excited to watch them. We're recording this on Wednesday. They got Colorado tonight on the road. Obviously, Colorado, one of the best teams in the league. Nathan McKinnon is out tonight with COVID. I like the Hawks. I took the Hawks puck line, which is plus 450. That's nice. I think it's going to be one of those years where, especially early, we're betting Hawks overs, and then hopefully they can tighten the screws defensively as the year goes along and just be a very good team, a team that people don't want to play against because they have talent, and they're going to be some bad boys. They're going to be bad boys.
I'm in. I need a good bandwagon to jump on.
Come on over, Dave. Come on over.
I don't
Gatekeep
like
them.
how
All
easy.
right, yeah, that was
You
too
let
easy.
me in right there.
We'll get back to that.
I didn't let Cusack in.
Loaded week
Appreciate
for
that.
Redline Radio. Loaded week for Barstool Chicago. Again, congratulations to White Sox Dave on capturing the hearts and minds with one of the great national debates, at least this year, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No, I mean, like, the story of the playoffs is Dave and Cusack. Like, more. That was a bigger story than anything that's happened on the field.
100%.
Yeah.
And at a time when the White Sox fan base so fucking desperately wants to bitch about how they don't get any national media attention, then you turn on NFL networks talking about it. You know, like it's just become this huge
Our
national
guy,
thing. But the White Sox fan base, all you guys want is national media attention, and who's delivering it?
White Sox Dave,
Your boy?
your boy.
That's how things are.
I still can't wrap my head around this fucking shit.
Oh, take the weekend. All gas.
No breaks.
DJ, play that shit.